In the house for a very long time. Never got seasick, better like wine. Slow searching, found me online. Oh, in a mountain sky.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Rose Gold videocast. With Fortnite going back to the OG map back from Season 1 in the original Chapter 1, my friends and I thought, why not make a tier list video for all of the points of interest on the original map? We really wanted to keep this list as simple as possible, so we didn't do anything too crazy with it. And really the criteria that we used for this list was how good is this location based on the initial drop. Now, I'm fully not expecting all of you to totally agree with this list. Absolutely not. That's the cool thing about games like this. We can all have our own different varying opinions. These are really just the picks that my friend group and I have always done. Yeah, that's right. We are from day one of Fortnite. Guys, we've been around for a long time, so we do know what we're talking about. Now, is that to say our picks for this list are correct? Definitely not. They are correct to us, what we prefer to play with, but to y'all, maybe not so much. If you are a new player and have never played these locations, I highly do recommend you kind of pay close attention and kind of see what we are talking about with each of these points of interests. As you'll see in the video, a lot of these places are fun to land just to vary it up, or just are very difficult to land, so it might be fun to throw that in the mix sometimes. However, the picks that we choose, especially for the top of the list, those are ones that we pretty much have to recommend to everybody. Please leave a like down below if you enjoyed today's content, and as always, if you agree or disagree with anything you see on the list, definitely leave a comment down below. All right, y'all ready?
This is a disaster.
I won't do a full intro. We'll just kind of dive into it. Did Declan just leave the call? Declan left the call. Declan!
Say what?
Said you left the call.
I did.
Mitch was like, all right, here we go. We're getting ready. Let's do
I'm
this.
like,
And you
guys,
just
we're gonna go.
leave.
And then
No, no.
So first up is Fatal Fields. How are we feeling about Fatal Fields?
Ooh.
Here's some booze.
I personally love Fatal.
You love Fatal? Do
I
you
like.
love it more
I shouldn't
than
say
Anarchy?
love might be a strong. No, love would be a strong word. I like Fatal. It's just
Fatal's
to
not
me
bad.
Anarchy's little
As
brother.
far as farms go, it's definitely bottom tier.
That's true.
Ooh, bottom tier farm. Okay. Yeah, I definitely prefer Anarchy over it. Also, I have to say, Fatal Fields' layout is crap. Like, in comparison to something like Anarchy. Anarchy is nice.
I would agree with. Yeah, I think the only thing that I like about Fatal would be that a lot of people land there. So if you're looking to like
They do land
fight a
there.
lot, you get to do that. But that's about it.
That is kind of about it.
Everything else is better up north at Anarchy.
Okay, where would y'all want to place this? In terms of every other place here.
I think it's an obvious B tier.
Nice B tier. Oh, towards the middle area, middle groundish.
I would say C or D. I'd be
Oh.
happy with C.
I was kind of leaning more towards C. I wouldn't place it down towards D. But I think I'll meet y'all in the middle, kind of where y'all thinking. I'll pick a nice C spot. Pretty middle ground area. Next up is Loot Lake. Thoughts on Lutimus Lakemus? Landing
I mean, you can't put
wise.
that higher than like a D.
Loot Lake sucks. I don't
Yeah.
like it's like a meme to land there.
Walking
Yes.
through the lake, like before you were able to, like, run through it and sprint, where you just had to build over it all if you didn't want to
Yeah.
Or
have
bounce.
to, like,
or
slowly
bounce.
hobble out of it.
Or bounce when
Use
Kevin
all
melted
your-
in. Ugh. I would put Luke. I would put Loot. Shout out to Luke. I would put Loot Lake probably at a D tier. I wouldn't say it's F because like there is kind of like a meme value of it. It's like, oh, let's land there to be dumb, I guess.
Yeah.
But I really don't want to land there personally. Not my thing. All right, now we're getting a little bit spicier though. We got Retail Row up next. Kind of like one of the few neighborhood style places. I like the little strip mall section that they also have going on inside of it. I also
Yeah,
like
retail's
how
solid.
retail is solid. I don't want to just like outright compare it to something like Pleasant or even Greasy, but I mean, it kind of have to, I guess, because it's one of the 3 neighborhood type places.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely better than Greasy, worse than like Salty, worse than you know. I would say that's because it's got all the almost a two-parted play. I would say it's a B tier just because it's a fun size. It's a good spot, but you can't put it A
Why can't you put it A?
because I think that there's better maps out there that aren't S tier.
Mm.
Okay. All valid. I was gonna say, I think kind of forgetting about Salty a little bit. I remember obviously you have the crazy house and the crazy basement, but that's tricky though. If you were gonna compare the rest of them, I like Greasy. I like Greasy more than Retail, I think. But
Rather
I
land
call.
at Greasy, yes.
You'd rather land at Greasy?
Yeah, I think Greece is a better landing spot because the loot is not any worse, and you don't have like people landing at the racetrack or lonely behind you, like pushing in towards you while you're looting.
Yeah, you are kind of more secluded over there. So Declan, you say B tier.
Yeah.
Matthew, what are you feeling?
I think B's all right.
Yeah, I would see the argument for an A tier, but I do think other places are better. Kind of like what you were saying, Declan. I'm fine with the B. We're gonna settle with the B tier. I'm down for that. Gave it a quick shout out though. Lonely Lodge, kind of up near Retail area. I like Lonely Lodge. I don't particularly prefer all the different buildings kind of being very spread out, but I like the wooded area a lot. Adds a little bit more of a flow and dynamic to the game. I don't know. I kind of put it near Fatal Fields, personally. I think it's a little less crazy and stressful, though, than like a Fatal Fields landing would be. So I feel like I personally would want to put it above Fatal Fields, but in the C tier.
I'd agree with that.
You're fine with that? You're chilling?
Got decent number of buildings for loot,
Yeah.
but it is a little spread out, kind of annoying to loot.
Yeah. A little
Yeah,
tricky.
I would say that's a fair ranking.
It does have the
That's where
tower.
I put it.
Tower is pretty cool. That's a fun land spot. It's a hot land spot. Next up, Moisty Mire. I would say this is F.
F.
Yeah,
It's
I think
it's
so.
like if you want to like talk about a play, there's two things I'll say about Moisty Mire though. It's got good loot actually, a good amount of chests are there,
There are.
can't say there
Actually,
aren't.
that's
And then-
very true.
and two, people don't really land there. So it's like for those two reasons, like I almost don't want to say F because it's like you can land there and it's like you can probably have good success more often than not if you do, and you'll probably leave, make it out
And-
alive.
And you get to go straight into the prison too.
Oh my god,
True.
the
Bonus
prison!
You can't put Moisty below Loot Lake. I don't think.
No.
Well, one, I forgot about the prison, if I'm being honest, like being right there next to it. You
Yeah.
can see it in the picture. Declan, you brought up a good point. There is a lot of loot there, and not a lot of people go.
Yeah. So I mean,
I would even place it higher than like D.
I know now that we're starting to talk about it, I'm starting to think we have a realistic C tier. Even though
Are
we didn't
dropping
drop
at
there.
Moisty tomorrow?
Yeah, we didn't
We're
drop there
dropping
very
at
often.
Moisty, boys.
Prison Roto?
Prison rotate, dude. That's legendary. Hang on.
So
might be a
I think
the
sleeper.
retail.
I think that should be your thing, is that you say Moisty by itself is D, but then if you add in Prison Rotate, then you could put it in C.
Weirdly,
Maybe
I
even
might
B.
even. I was gonna say I would even put it in B. Prison rotate is
I think
legendary.
B. I think that's a rare two-tier jump with a rotate location. You can honestly say the same with Anarchy. Like that's like S tier by itself, but then S plus when you
Dude,
go Tomato Town.
you are
into
onto
into
something.
tunnel.
You are onto something. I'll tell you what. Vegas didn't see this one coming.
No, but
Out of nowhere.
Out of
Moisty
nowhere, it
Mire.
was an F, and now we're like, no, maybe B.
Matthew brought the prison. That was a great.
Prison, I
forgot about.
completely forgot it was right
Yeah,
there.
I've got the map pulled up. My other screen.
That's huge, actually. Okay, are we cool with it being B tier? But is it above or below retail?
I think it's got to be below.
I think so too.
Below.
Because like Moisty itself kind of stinks. Like also it's like slow water, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
mud.
It's like
you gotta
mud.
hop through it.
But Loot Lake is too, right? This is before swimming.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. But still, it's just not a fun place by itself. That brings it down a little bit, but if not, I would put it above retail because
I
that
think you
that
can.
is too good.
Yeah.
All right, wow, Moisty, what a legend right there. Flush Factory. How we feel about Flush? I never
Not like
landed there.
Flush.
I think Flush and Loot Lake are proper D tiers.
Yeah,
If Flush is an F tier, then what is?
Well,
I was originally gonna put Moisty down there, like even before I was thinking about it. Would Loot
I mean,
Lake
all-
be? Hang
are-
on,
these
would
are
Loot
only-
Lake be F tier?
are these only named
It might
locations?
be.
These are gonna be only named locations.
Well, in that case, then Loot Lake would have to be D, and then Flush, or no, Loot Lake would be F. Flush would be D.
Yeah. I kind of agree with you on that, and I know we got like the Loot Lake itself is a 6 spot, but landing there first is bad. It's not good.
Bad loot,
I mean,
and you're just stuck there in the
You're
middle
also
of the lake.
stuck. Yeah,
like you said earlier, it's just a meme.
it is
It
just
is
a
a-
meme. Yeah, and the
Do it to
meme
mix
points
it
don't
up.
work here, not with us. Flush Factory, I feel like it's fine, but it like I don't remember it. You know, it's not memorable.
I just remember the big toilet, and I remember the conveyor belt.
And the big toilet and the big conveyor belt.
Conveyor
yeah.
belts were so annoying to like
Oh, they
Get
were.
around.
get around.
Had to jump
Yeah.
over them all the yeah, no, I'm fine with it being D tier. And it's a weird
And there's,
placement.
like-
You're at the very bottom of the map, and there's kind of nothing else around there. You have to rotate up to like Fatal, I think.
Yeah.
It's weird too
Fatal or
because it's like
greasy.
it's like the
Yeah.
little factory, and then there's like a drop off and like a little like bay like dock area. So it's almost like I don't know. It's people can hide back there. I remember it was almost like a little miniature COD map. I
Yeah,
don't like
yeah,
it.
that's a good way to put it too. It was like Black Ops 6. Oh my god,
Gross.
Seriously.
nasty. All right, I'm fine with it at D tier. Y'all good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Back half of the maps right here. Wailing Woods. It's a cool
Love hate.
place.
Love hate.
I love a finale in Wailing Woods.
I think Whaling,
That's kind of
it's either last place in B or maybe first place in C. Well, maybe not.
Yeah,
There's not a lot of
high.
loot in Whaling.
There's not a lot in Wailing. I think it's a cool place.
I think you
Somewhere
gotta
in
go-
C tier, I think.
They have like
I would
a
say
little,
like
what you got?
sorry. I didn't mean to.
I was
was
just
gonna
gonna
say-
say they've got like the treehouse in the top right corner. I
That is
hate
true.
this Discord delay.
Guys, relax.
That was all I was gonna
This is
say.
really like a
Declan, what were
slip.
you gonna say?
It was no, I was gonna say that the thing with what was I gonna say now? God darn it. Thing with I was something about whaling.
It's really
Well,
easy to
one
get
the
snuck
maze
up on in
the
Whaling.
maze in the middle I think
Yeah.
is awful. Like that's the only place where there's like concentrated loot, and like a finale in whaling is good. I
Yeah.
love a whaling finale, but starting there it always makes me nervous. Plus you get
Wailing?
there's a few spots you can get hit from in whaling. Like there's the Anarchy. What else is right there?
Freaking tomato.
There's a
Tomato
few
and Lonely,
farms
like are all
north
right
of
around
it,
there.
too.
Oh yeah, all the
People
farms.
land at.
There's like some decent rotates, but it's like you land there, if you survive the middle, you need to leave because you're not gonna find
Exactly.
anything else. I would put it.
I would say low end C.
I was gonna
or, like,
say I
maybe-
was gonna put it like in low end C or even D.
Yeah,
I
somewhere
think the-
between those two, I think.
I might do above Flush because it has like fun rotate capabilities,
Definitely above
but like
Flush.
landing there is not. It's not good.
Yeah, I think D, but above Flush would be good.
Yeah, I'll place it there. I'll place it there. Frick Flush, dude. Flush is boring.
True. Another thing with whaling too is it only has wood. There's nothing else.
That's true. If you're playing build mode, Whaling is the place to go. Well, until until a pick we have later, of course. What's next? Pleasant Park is up. One of the only locations that has been in the game forever. I like Pleasant Park a lot. I feel like that's a pretty standard thing.
I think it's Gotta
I think
be at
it's.
least A tier.
I was gonna say it's got to be A.
Yeah, I think
I
so
think
too. I would be tempted to put it up in S.
there's only one other location that I would put in S before I put. I guess two, but one that we haven't talked about, I put in S before I put Pleasant.
Okay,
I'm not gonna say
so
A.
are you wanting Pleasant in A? Was that like a nice
That's what
spot
I
for
would vote
you?
for.
Okay.
That's what I vote for. Like the highest of A, number 1A.
Okay, I can agree with you on that. I am tempted to put it in S, but the rotate capability is pretty nice. And if you get Pleasant Park, you're like set for the game.
The loot's top notch.
Shoot, I personally want to put it up in S. Declan, you're chilling with A?
I think there's a yeah. Well, I want to be. There's a good argument both ways. I would vote A, but
Okay, Matthew, how do you feel?
I could go either way on it. I mean, you get really good loot. It's a lot of times you get some good fights there because like you land on one side and then you see people land on the other and then you both
True.
loot a house and like fight each other over the soccer field or
That
either
that
A
is a
or
good
S, I
point.
think.
I'm gonna keep it with A because thinking about like how popular it is, people will land there a lot. So
are we
depending on like
still?
you have to win it, you have to win it obviously to move on. I'm gonna keep it
Yeah.
A. I think like high A is perfect. Next up, small location, Dusty Depot.
Ooh,
One of just those really small named locations.
Matthew, what do you think about Dusty?
Not a lot of loot. It's in the middle of the map. It's
Yeah.
more of a place that you go through and you don't land at.
Yeah, it's like a rotation.
If you're landing at Dusty, you're probably having a bad time already.
You probably are.
I may either C or D tier, I think.
I was even gonna be tempted to put it in F.
Really?
I have a good answer to this, I believe, because I think it's above F, but it's below C, so obviously D. But I would say the number one D spot because it's the first spot that we ever landed or that I remember landing. And the first time we ever played.
That is, you know what? That is
So
like
for
a
that
nice
reason, I can't put
first.
enough.
I get it. I get it. It is
It
better than
does.
Loot Lake.
It
Loot
does
Lake
also
stinks.
have the factory down the road, which
I'm saying
is
it. You
like
can also push through a lot
kind
of
of
stuff.
part of Dusty,
It does
kind
have
of
the
like the prison
factory.
with Moisty.
Yeah, it is mixed in there. Okay, okay.
I
could
think
see
maybe
it.
top of D tier might be fair.
I think you're right about that because Wailing Woods, you have to rotate out, obviously, but like there's literally almost nothing in Wailing Woods.
Yeah.
Dusty, at least there's some stuff. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with top D tier for the Dusty Depot, the triple D. Oh my god,
That makes sense.
it does.
That adds up.
Greasy Grove. Here we are.
Is that A?
I would put Greasy in A. I am tempted once again to put it up in S.
I think
but
I would put
King.
that behind
Burger King is
Pleasant
there.
or behind Pleasant.
You would prefer?
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
They're similar. It's a bit more. It's not as open as Pleasant, so it's kind of easier to loot up before you fight people.
That's true.
The location is it's pretty much the same location wise.
Yeah, they're just on top of each other, basically.
You don't really have anywhere great to rotate to
That's
from
what I was
Greasy.
gonna say. The only thing I don't like about Greasy is that it's like a mile run to the next place you want to go.
Yeah. Because until they added, like, Tilted, you kind of just ran towards the circle no matter what. Like,
Yeah.
Greasy's a good place to land if you're like trying to have solid loot and like survive far and win the game without having to fight too many people.
yeah.
Which is why I think it's a great A spot.
I agree with
Not
you.
S.
Do we think it's better to land at Greasy than Pleasant? Pleasant is a lot more open, so you're going to have more, like, engagement.
I like Pleasant. Yeah, I think Pleasant's the best A spot because it's like you can kind of make, for the most part, like if you want to fight in Pleasant, you can, and if you don't really want to, you don't have to. For the
That's
most part, unless
true.
you get
You know what?
sandwiched, like
That is true, because you can kind of dip out the back of Pleasant from any direction. Greasy, I feel like if you want to leave, you will get shot. For some
yeah,
reason.
Shot
a
in the
lot of-
back.
For
yeah.
some reason, that happens every time. I'm going to leave it there. Pleasant is above Greasy. But Greasy is still great. I'm going to leave it at A.
Yep.
I like that.
I'm cool with that. All right, last neighborhood is Salty Springs. We got the
S.
crazy
S.
basement. We've got the houses up on the hill. You know, you have to kind of ramp down from the gas station. What else is salty? Oh, they've got the giant tree in the house, don't they?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And
I didn't. Did you say it already? Crazy basement? You probably already
I did say I said crazy house, but yeah, crazy basement.
It mentions two mentions.
God, it is
It is
good.
that good. It is that awesome. I
And
mean,
there is
we
that
have the cheat
legendary
down.
clip from those guys like screaming at each other for like their first win or something. I don't know if y'all know what I'm talking
Yeah, that's
about.
right. I do.
It's in that house. It is right there. Oh, dude, salty. I'm excited to land salty tomorrow, guys. Oh my god. I would put this up at S. I think that's fair. I think it's the
Yeah.
best out of them all, out of all the neighborhoods, and you can kind of rotate out. It's pretty central location, so you can kind of move out quite a bit more. You can hit the factory. You can also hit Dusty Depot. It's really close.
Yep. I think it's in the perfect spot on the map. It's the perfect size. It has the perfect escapability. It's there's nothing I would change about Salty.
It's nice, and it has that big like land formation behind it with the tower on it. So,
That's right.
overlooking
Right.
spot. So you could land there and kind of overlook and engage it first. I'm
If
cool
you have
with I'm cool with
sniper,
S. Matthew, you good with S? Or do you have
Yeah, I think S is good.
S for Salty Springs? Oh, so I thought we were just about done, but I realized we need Tomato Town. I think Tomato Town by itself is not great, but it's a great rotation spot.
yeah, it's very supplemental.
Yes.
Supplemental location. It's like a landing there. You got to put it like. What do we have number 1D?
Number 1D is Dusty, which is like a rotation from Tomato.
So is Tomato better than Dusty? But then
Tomato's
I had
also
like
hell.
Flush.
Like if another group lands at Tomato, it's dangerous.
It's true. Still better than Flush though, right? Would
Yeah, I
you
don't
agree?
like Flush. I don't like Flush.
If we're being fair to Flush, I don't think we can say that Tomato's better.
No, you're right. You're right. Honestly, when we were ranking like Dusty above Flush, I was like, I don't know.
Poor
about
Flush Factory.
Okay, hang on. I will put Flush.
I think
at
it's just a big toilet.
I'm Flush's layout sucks, but it at least is like a structure and a building. I'm going to move it above Dusty and Wailing. It's at the top of D.
I'm trying to think Whaling might belong at the very tail end of C.
My argument was you land there, there's not much loot, and you have to leave.
That's true.
And the surrounding areas isn't the best. You do have like the farms and the farmhouses, but
So you guys are saying that Flush goes ahead of Whaling for sure?
I think so. I'd prefer to land at Wailing just because I think Flush is boring.
I think that's how I kind of feel. The likability, there's something about Flush, it's just, there's nothing to do there. It's like you go there and you leave and nobody's happy.
Right? No one's happy at Flush.
Like,
I like once again,
Yeah,
I'd prefer if anyone was like Flush or Wailing, where do you want to land? I would rather
Wailing.
land at Wailing, but I think you would be a safer and like maybe not safer, but you'd have more chance at loot for sure at Flush before having to leave.
true, but I think just the fact that we're saying that we would just answer Whaling just kind of says it right then and there.
All right,
There's a
fine.
reason
Flush
for
is
that.
the bottom of D. Stay in there.
I think Tomato's got to be bottom of D behind Flush.
I
then.
agree. Tomato. Once
could
again, it's a
argue-
meme, but it's not a
Yeah.
good place to land.
Yeah, I
We'll
would
give
agree
Flush
with that.
some credit
You-
there.
I think you could even throw it an F if you wanted to, but I think bottom D is also great.
If I threw it an F, would it be in front of or behind loot?
I think
It
since
might
that's
have to
such
be behind it.
since that's a good question, I think it has to be an F, right? Is it behind it or above it? It's like, well,
You know what?
we
No,
don't know.
You're
That's gotta
right.
be
I
F.
think
I mean, Tomato's got good rotates. Maybe it's in front of it because like
I think it's the
loot,
number
you're
one
just
F.
like in the middle of everything, and you like
the
where
water
do you go
sucks.
from Loot Lake? Tomato, you can go down to the containers, or you can go over to
Can.
Dusty.
You can.
Nobody's gonna be in Whaling, so you're not gonna get pushed from
That's true.
behind.
You're not going to be. That's us tomorrow, guys. We're landing Wailing. We're pushing Tomato. I like this
Yes,
a
I
lot.
think.
Tomato to me is a very much like your road trip stop. Like you're gonna be rotating out of your main location, and that'll be a stop.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
And Loot Lake sucks. So we have made it to the final named location for season 1. Boys, it is Anarchy Acres. I'm gonna go ahead and put it up in S tier. How do y'all feel about that?
Top of S, no
Number
question.
1. Yeah, it's just
Gotta
there's
be
never
number
been a
1.
question.
Gotta
It
be
never
number
was a
1.
question.
Not many people land there. That's why it was also axed immediately and traded out for what lazy freaking links early on. But yeah, like
It
it's
was
compact
too good
size.
they had to take it out.
Yeah, seriously, compact size. The layout is very simple but easy. And if you take Anarchy, there's a good bit of loot. If you're in build mode, there's so many resources there to gather up. And after you're all done with that, the road trip for rotations is undeniably amazing. That's my case for Anarchy.
Which is, you gotta say what it is.
You go Anarchy, then you head down to Tomato. You go through the tunnel. Not only are you in the tunnel, you break open the secret chest compartment in the tunnel. You go down to the containers. Or not the containers, you go down to Dusty, those containers. And then you kind of go from there from just to wherever. You can go from the
Wherever the circle takes you.
wherever the circle takes you. You can go from Dusty. You can go to Dusty to Salty Springs. You could make your way over to what else is around there? I wish I had the map pulled up. What else is around there, guys?
Retail, salty,
Retail.
or
it's
like
so
rotate back
good.
up to Pleasant. Circle's
So
top
S tier
left.
location, A tier location, you can go to any of them.
Any of them.
From
The
this rotation. It's
motel.
just-
The motel does not exist.
Damn it. Okay, not the motel yet, but it will exist eventually.
Soon. Season 2.
But also, it's like
think-
we took on so many games and we won so many games because we were able to sit there, loot up completely, resource up completely, and we were just set. And no one's there. It's like usually another team. But
I
that's
think
it.
one of the big things about it too is like you sit up there and then you see where the circle's gonna be. If it's like bottom left, then you go around Loot Lake on the left side, and if it's right, then you can go around the right side.
Yeah,
So you
don't
pretty
have
much
to
have like a
cut
free
through.
rotate towards the circle. You got the lake protecting you from getting pushed.
That is a good point. Yeah, anyone that shoots you from over there is just going to be like, I mean, they're just throwing rocks at that point, not doing much.
Yeah, there's like a literal terrain advantage. You know, like your location just sets you up to win ball games when you land Anarchy.
Yeah, I love it.
It's perfect.
That's perfect, guys. I can't wait to drop Anarchy tomorrow.
I have a theory on Anarchy. I think that the reason that they removed it and never brought it back was because the devs looked at. I think that we drove up the percentages, meaning that the devs were probably looking at drop locations amongst the population. They were seeing what percentage of players that land at each location end up winning the games, and we drove up the number so high for Anarchy. They were like, something's happening, and we got to remove it and figure it
Something's
out.
going
And
on.
they've studied it now.
Nerf Anarchy.
They've studied now for like 7
Nerf it.
years, and they still can't figure it out because there was actually nothing wrong. It was just us figuring out the game.
We cracked the code. The devs.
So they just gave
purposely-
up finally.
There was a developer, only one guy. He's like, I love Anarchy so much. So when I design this location, I'm gonna make it the cheat code. Anyone who lands here is gonna have a 50% chance of winning instantly, because it's just
If
gonna be
they
it's just
rotate
gonna be
tomato.
us, our team versus the other team there. And at that point, it's just whoever can outplay each other. That's all it was. I love the tier list. I know, Declan, you can't really see it. Matthew, how do you feel about it? Looking at
I think
the
it's
whole thing.
good.
I think it's good too. I feel bad for Flush now a little bit, but
Dark
Flush
Horse
stinks.
was definitely Moisty, sneaking its way into B tier.
Yeah, Moisty,
Unbelievable.
dude. Crazy. That's unheard of right there. That was uncharted
Yeah.
territory.
Moisty somehow talked itself into that. I don't know.
I don't know. He was pretty silent in the corner. We were all just getting all hot and bothered by Moisty.
No, I think that's maybe what it was. His like stoic look over in the corner just kind of like spoke for itself, you know. Or
Tall,
like,
dark, and handsome over there. Look at him.
that guy's got something to offer, doesn't he? Yeah.
He does have something to offer. Ooh.
Moisty.
Dang.
Never seen you looking so Fresh.
So wet? Oh.
Oh. Oh.
Whoa.
Well,
Hey.
moisty's always wet.